The reason I called in with this second point, if you could pull up that second image. I think one of the things that's happening with not only BLM, but we even saw it with the Breonna Taylor, when nobody thought about Breonna Taylor, is nobody deal with how ignorant this the argument is, because they don't want to deal with the blowback. And I will deal with it today in data, because I need for everybody to understand it doesn't make sense in our race. So when you start dealing with this thing, the reason why you create subcategories is there's a main baseline group that is outperforming the rest of the other groups because they're getting privilege. All of these groups have made that baseline group heterosexual black male. The problem is they use dead heterosexual, largely black males, from what we know, that died from unemployment, poverty, and everything else to build their movement. But we're going to talk about it. But it's worse than that. Then they separate themselves out into any given niche and give half the story. So what do I mean? The reason why white women separate from white men is because white men have all of the wealth, well, large sums of it, let me say. And then they outperform them by patriarchy. You can't do that inside of the black race because we're the only group where when you add in the incarcerated, we likely make less than our women per dollar. The only group that goes to that is incarcerated at the rate that we have, the males. We're the only group that has the unemployment rate that we do. So when you say Black Lives Matter, there's no need to say any other group because there is no baseline group of heterosexual black males taking all the advantage. I want everybody to understand how ignorant this is. You have a lady who, I believe she's Nigerian, highly privileged, separating out herself and anchoring herself as a center, similar like I said with Kamala in the Opal young woman, on the backs of ADOS men living throughout the South and the East and the Midwest, running from everything from child support to selling cigarillos to support their children. I don't think we all understand this, so I want to read something just so we get a little clearer. I had sent this to Yvette, this from Wikipedia. Black women, same-sex couples, are likely to face more economic disparities than black women in opposite-sex relationships. Black women in same-sex couples earn $42,000 compared to black women in opposite-sex relationships who earn $51,000, a 21% increase in income. But you don't tell what Eric Garner was making, or you don't talk about how George Floyd was unemployed. You don't deal with the fact that heterosexual black males are doing worse. We just know. See, we don't have to guess. Only one in five. Look, she has it on the screen right now. I just want to make sure I hit it just to be clear. 1 in 5 black men in all of 2016 didn't find no work. They didn't come up with that number for black women because that's not true for black women. It just wasn't that rate. Understand that when you pull up the numbers, young black males are incarcerated at a rate, and when I use young, I pulled the data, it's black men between the ages of about 19 and 40, they're incarcerated at a rate of like 9,000 per 100,000. Black women are at 300 per 100,000. This is not a Fresh Olympics when you have that kind of variance. Because what it's saying is that you don't, look, when you say Black Lives Matter, you don't need to partition out a group that outperforms your baseline group that much. Yes, it is outperforming that group when you don't go to jail. You barely go to jail. The other group goes to jail at that rate. Yes, it is outperforming that group when your earning power is way higher than the baseline. I think overall people just don't know the numbers. So they just make it up based on the 60s or the 50s or patriarchy or anything else. Part of the problem right now is everybody is trying to suck the bone marrow out of black communities and black ghettos, and particularly black men, to make their own narrative more important than it is in the whole story. Right now, what we need to be concerned about is ADOS people. I understand that they wanted to do a Black Futures last week, but you don't get to increase the number of trans in the study. You said it was 0.8, but you made it 4%. I think it's more like 0.1 or less. I would love for you to show me 0.8% of black America that's trans. Not gay, but trans. Not homosexual, but trans. I apologize. this is what's going on. I hope I made it clear. I know it's a little hard to see what I'm saying, but I'm saying to you that you don't need to create subgroups when your main group that you're supposed to be using as a baseline is actually collapsed. It's just then you just use the generality. Maybe you can make it clear as I get off the line, man.
No problem, fam. I appreciate it, Tone. As always, Antonio Moore, family. So I appreciate it. And you like, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's so interesting. Like he said, like, you know, you could make that case if black men were like white men. See, we can't talk about patriarchy. Black men are like white men, and they have all the money. See, white women got tired of, it wasn't, you were always a part of the family, but you got tired of like the man being the head of that household and controlling the money and controlling the wealth. We don't have that situation where the black man got the money, he's going to give it to us. So like we got a bunch of wealthy black men, and so we're going to center ourselves in the movement because all these wealthy black men, they got the money, they won't give us the money, so screw you. That's not what's happening, and the black men are just telling us, well, you should just stay home and not have no money or whatever, and we all have money, and you just have to play this role. Like, that's not our situation. And like you see, like we don't have a situation where black men are like just outperforming black women. That's not the situation. As a matter of fact, they're incarcerated like at the more than all the women in the world. So like I don't know how we get here to like carve out, unless it's a vanity project. That's the only way I can see it.
What I was calling to suggest and see what your opinion is on ADOS becoming a nation and recognized like the Native Americans.
I think we missed that moment. Like we never got that. Like we never got made a nation and sovereignty and all of that. So we missed that moment. Like we're like, I don't think we understand like they still do a lot of stuff that comes from like Native American, like we have been so like we're not integrated in terms of Americanness, like, you know, in terms of like we live in our own neighborhoods, but I don't think we really understand how much like we're American. Like you be watching the same thing, same sports if you're men or women too, but whatever. Like, so that ship has sailed. So there has to be a different solution because we're not a nation state. And even with the Indians, the Native Americans, they still got they got a lot of stuff in terms of like some of them tribes are wealthy or whatever, and then some of them are dirt poor. I don't even know if that's the answer for them in terms of how they did it, but they sure do. I think if you want to get anything from the Native Americans, understand how they understand that they're a tribe and they exclude other groups. Like they understand clearly that we're not the same as everybody else. We're not people of color. We're Native American, and you better treat us with specificity. I think that's the main thing. I honestly think that's the main thing we could get from them.
So you think it's a long shot?
I wouldn't even try. I don't want to. I don't want to be a nation state. I just want my wealth. Like, and I want a protection against these predatory sharks, and I want a redistribution of land, and I want a whole lot of stuff that I don't want to get into right now. But I want that. Most of what I want is inheritance to be American. I don't want to be on a nation state. I don't want to be on a reservation. I don't want to be on a reservation, a plantation. I don't want to be on none of that. I just want what makes me American. And I want to not be a part of a plundered group. We should not be a plundered group. We should be a group that has the wealth that our people have earned, that's been passed down to us. So we can be American and we can withstand coronavirus or anything else. That's what I want.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate it.
No problem, fam. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
All right.